All right, here is your video for your Tuesday assignment. To start class today, you guys should have learned a little bit more about the purchases journal with your questions. A purchases journal is used to record purchase of merchandise on account only. So again, if you were to purchase merchandise with cash, you would not be able to use this journal. You'd have to use a different journal. But again, for the sake of this activity, all of your purchases will be on account. So I'm going to work you through exercise 9-9, which is on page 408 in your textbook. And you'll just have to find it there in your handouts. I'm not sure what page it is. So go ahead and find 9-9 in your worksheets, exercise 9-9, and you should be on page 408 in your text. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to be working with Williams Corporation. Talks about the following purchases for May. I am going to skip down to the bottom and kind of look at that information. We're going to start actually with that just so we don't miss it. Okay, so we're going to assume that Williams Corporation had the beginning balances on May 1st in the different ledgers. So we're going to go ahead and come down here to our ledgers. And I think they're already recorded in there for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this while I put those balances in. So now you can see that my three ledgers have an updated balance as of May 1st. I believe your assignment should have that done already for you. The other piece down at the bottom that I want you guys to look at is that you're going to see that we're using Purchases Journal page 13. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in that this is page 13. So we know when we post that we're going to be using page 13. Okay, so looking through our transactions here on May 3rd, we bought 10 lawn rakes from Owens Company. Okay, gives us an invoice number, and then it says terms net 15 days. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you here what that means in just a minute. Our supplier's name is Owens Company. Okay, we're going to use the invoice that was given to us, J34Y9. Okay, our invoice was dated May 1st. Okay, and the reason we need the invoice date is because we're going to have some terms here. They're telling us that our terms are net 15 days. So what that means, we're going to do N-10. What that means is we have 10 days to pay our invoice in full. Okay, so net 10 means we have 10 days, or I'm sorry, this should be 15. We have 15 days to pay our invoice in full. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just leave our post reference for now. And then, so here's, we kind of need to work backwards. We're going to go ahead and go all the way over here to the end of the purchases debit. So what we need to do is we need to look at how much did the actual purchase itself cost. And when you look at your book, you can see that the purchase was for $250.25. And then we have to decide, do we need to have any freight in here? So what this says is FOB shipping point, freight prepared and added to the invoice. So what that means is that we are actually paying the freight. So we're going to put the $15 worth of freight in there. So now we need to go ahead and we need to add the amount of our purchase plus our freight in order to get how much we owe Owens Company. So if we add those two together, we get $265.25. So if we are taking on the freight and it's added to the invoice, we take our purchases plus our freight to figure out how much we owe the company. Okay, on May 11th, we bought one weed trimmer from Lionel's Lawn Landscaping. Okay, it gives us our invoice and the total. And then it gives you a little bit more for terms this time. I'll explain that as we type it in here. Dated May 9th. FOB shipping point. So again, the freight's prepaid and added to the invoice. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this is going to look like. So we have Lionel's Lawn I'm just going to say L&L because I don't have a lot of room. Lionel's Lawn and Landscaping. Okay, invoice R7740. Okay, our invoice was dated May 9th. So again, that's important because here we have some terms. Our terms this time say 2-10 net, so comma net 30. So what that means, we have 30 days to pay our invoice. We also have this here, if we pay within 10 days, we get a 2% discount. A lot of companies want to encourage buyers to pay early, so they will give that, 2 to 3 to 5% discount if you pay, in a shorter amount of time. Okay, so I'm going to work backwards again. Okay, my actual purchase itself was $219.72. That's how much that trimmer costs. It did say we had some freight that we added to the invoice for $35. So we take our purchases amount plus our freight. So we owe Lionel's Lawn and Landscaping $254.72. All right, moving on to the 15th. This one's going to be a little bit different. We bought 5 bags of fertilizer from Wright's Farm Supplies. Okay, gives us our invoice number, gives us our terms, and then this one's FOB destination, so it's going to look a little bit different. So Wright's Farm, so here we are on the 15th. Wright's Farm Supply. Okay, our invoice is number 478. Our invoice date is 5/13. Okay, our terms this time are just net 30. They aren't providing any sort of discount. Again, we're going to work backwards here. Our actual purchase of the fertilizer was $210.97. And if you noticed, it said FOB destination. That means we don't pay the shipping. So the buyers or the seller is going to take care of that. So we owe them $210.97. There is no freight. Okay, and then our last transaction here on the 25th. What did we buy? 1 lawnmower from Gutierrez Corporation. So let's go ahead and plug in our information here. Our invoice number is 2458. So again, you should be doing this with me on your worksheet. Our invoice is dated May 22nd, net-30. So we have 30 days to pay our invoice. And again, I'm going to work backwards. Our lawnmower cost itself was $425.39. The seller paid the shipping. So we owe $425.39. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to, I'm going to skip a line here. May, I think, only has 30 days. So we're going to go ahead and total up each one of our columns here. So our accounts payable, let's see if I can try that again. And then I'm going to go ahead and just autofill. So I have my totals for all 3. And if you notice, it's just really nice to be aware here. If you look up here, when we post this, when it goes into accounts payable, it goes in as a credit. When it goes to freight in, it's going to go in as a debit. And when it goes into purchases, it goes as a debit. So for the time being, all we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and we're going to post these totals. We will be doing more with these when I'm back, but for the time being, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to post our totals here into the general ledger. Okay, so we know we have our accounts payable ledger here. So if we come to this column, okay, accounts payable is a credit. I'm just going to go ahead and copy. We'll see if this works or not. And I'm going to go ahead and on the 30th, this time we're going to use PJ because it's Purchases Journal, page 13. So PJ 13. Okay, and we know it goes in as a credit. And it's doing it again. So our credit is right here, this 115633. So if we're crediting a credit, remember we add. Okay, so we've got our new updated balance here for our accounts payable. All right, we're going to go ahead and indicate underneath here that we posted that in account 212. Okay, that's how we show that that was posted. A little bit different. Shoot, it shouldn't give that negative there. Let's see what I can do here. All right, just about done here. We're going to go to our freight in. We're going to put our 50 in as a debit. Okay, so again, we're on the 30th. This is Purchases Journal, so PJ 13. We're debiting a debit, so we add. And then we're going to come back here. Notice this is account 511. So underneath this column, we're going to go ahead and put in that 511 to indicate that we posted it. And then our last total here is going to go into purchases as a debit, 110633. All right, you guys, I got you in the wrong spot here. Let's see if I can cut this off. This should go into here. All right, so there's your updated total. So I am sorry I jumped ahead there. So freight in should be actually account 514. I'll fix that here. And this is going to be account 511. $11,000, and it's going to be a debit, 11,000, 110633. Okay, so on the 30th, nothing goes into your item. This is Purchases Journal, page 13. Okay, this time we are all right, I think I got everything on the right track here again. So my purchases total, my 1,106.33 comes down into my purchases ledger as a debit. So I'm debiting a debit. So I need to add those two together to get my updated purchases ledger account. So again, complete your purchases journal. Make sure you total and then post each one of these three into their general ledger for your work together today. So this is your work together. I want you guys to go ahead and finish the 9-10, the exercise 9-10 that you guys started yesterday. Please complete the purchases portion of it.